online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
If you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think
there we go. All right. Justin Bieber right there. I thought that was the perfect way to start the episode, right?
Yes, yes. Hi, guys. We are AfterBuzz TV, and we are at the after show for Girlfriends Guide to Divorce, episode 7, No Means No.
No means no.
And I am your host, Isis Velazquez, and you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Isis Velazquez and the number 4, and my lovely co-host.
Hey, y'all. It's Tara Johnson here, and you can find me on Twitter at TJ Wagging Her Tail. But before we get into this episode, we want to just remind you to go on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, leave comments, and also, if you would be so kind, leave this after show 5 stars, because we're working hard for you. So there we go. Now we got all that out of the way.
Yes, and don't forget to comment on YouTube. I love the comments.
I love the comments.
Yes, so
yeah,
comment
I love
on
that.
YouTube.
Yeah, and we were a little short on comments this week, so bring them on.
Yes,
yeah.
The first episode we had a whole bunch of comments.
Yeah.
Come on, people, keep on watching.
Yeah, keep watching.
All right, so no means no.
No, definitely somewhat meant no this episode. It eventually got there, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we see in this episode that Abby's parents are coming into town.
Mm-hmm.
They come into town, and Abby's parents have a history of coming into town without letting anybody know, just short notice, and also they're not very helpful type of parents.
They're not very parenty. You know, I mean, like, from the minute that they came on the screen, I just felt like it kind of breezed in, and it wasn't this kind of like parental feeling that you normally get when a lot of parents are around. It was kind of like this easy breezy, let's see what we can get and do what we can do and be out the door kind of thing. They didn't seem like they want to be bothered.
Yes, they weren't hands-on grandparents type.
No.
All right, so that's a little bit stressful for Abby. She just...
Everything seemed to be stressful for Abby this episode. Poor thing.
Mm-hmm. And so also... We also have Abby still dating the doctor.
You know, okay. I understand the writers, but I was the main one last week saying, this Dr. Harris, I don't like him, I don't trust him, I don't this, I don't that kind of thing. And then this week they have him ride in like a knight in shining armor. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait a minute, who makes this kind of 180 change in a week's time?
Yes, I thought the same thing. We didn't like him last week.
Not at all.
We didn't like him in last episode, and I feel the same way. I was like, they just made him look so lovable, and you know, I think I kind of like him in this episode now.
You know what? I'm trying to figure out, will the real Dr. Harris please stand up? Because I'm not really sure the real person yet. Because last week he was such an ass. Like,
yes.
Let's just be honest.
Douchebag.
Yes, he was like mean, dismissive, wishy-washy, back and forth. And this time it's like, I want you to go to Ecuador. I'm going to stand by your side. I'm going to come help your family and your friends and just be like this rock. At the same time that Jake is like leaving for months, leaving Abby kind of feeling like, you know, I have to handle this family by myself. He just seemed like the perfect gentleman this time. I don't know which Dr. Harris is the real Dr. Harris.
And I am with you with that. We don't know. And I think in the couple of next episodes, they're going to let us know. Do we want Harris to stay or do we want him to leave? I feel the same way. We don't know who's the real Harris. I think that maybe he's like, I think he has a mental disorder.
You think he has a mental disorder?
Even though he's a doctor. Listen, I know a lot of crazy doctors.
Do you know a lot of crazy doctors? I don't know a lot of crazy doctors, but maybe they become crazy because they're in the hospital so much. But this doctor doesn't seem to be in the hospital that much. Like, he seems to be out in the world doing whatever. We never figured out what kind of doctor he was,
it
right?
Could be a mild case of, like, I don't know, bipolar or something. Ups and downs.
It's a lot of ups and downs. Like, I can't give him thumbs up. I can't give him thumbs down. So I'm like right here in the middle with the thumb. Like, I don't even know what to...
I think
do with him.
I think he's somehow cuckoo in the head, and just the way he pays back is kind of like being a doctor and helping the world. Maybe that helps him in his crazy mind. I don't know. I don't like this doctor, but now I like him in this episode. But we still don't know what to take of him.
Right.
All right, moving along. We also see Joe. She's still dating.
How are we feeling about Joe overall? Like, how are we feeling about Joe, the character, overall, especially given this episode?
I love Joe. I love her character. And I got to say is that Joe is going through a lot of changes. And think about her bakery, it might be taken away.
Right.
Her ex-husband moves here. The stepmother wants to come over and take over everything. So Joe is just kind of like doing anything she can do to kind of like keep her sanity. And dating is something that kind of has taken over in the past couple of episodes of her just Tinder dating here and there. And those Tinder dates just turn into casual sex.
Right. And I guess that's the whole thing. Like, there's one thing to go out on a bunch of dates and just kind of like fill your evenings up with meeting different people, because I think, like, I haven't been in LA that long before I started dating my boyfriend. I did the same thing. Like, you go on whatever, Match, you go whatever, and you meet a bunch of people, because how else are you going to meet people when you move here? However, all of those dates that I had, as a matter of fact, 0 of those dates that I had turned into some kind of casual sex. And I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not. Mm-hmm. But it seems as if, whereas we're talking about it as casual dating, she went out with the intention from the beginning of the episode, like, I'm about to hit it hard. Like, I'm about to hit this Tinder thing hard and get everything I can. And I just think, unfortunately, it turned out, like, really dangerous by the end of the episode. Like, that could have really gone a completely different way.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say Tinder. Let's get into this Tinder thing. Tinder. Listen, I did the whole Tinder thing, Match, everything you could think of. And I didn't look at Tinder for what supposedly in actuality it is. I think it's just, hello, wham bang, thank you, ma'am.
It's a hookup. Well, I mean, no offense to the executives of Tinder. We're just saying.
I didn't know that.
The way it's used, it seems to be a hookup tool.
Okay, so yes, I mean, yeah, I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly when it came to Tinder. So I deleted the application like 8 months ago. I had to. I kind of had like a crazy experience, and that was the last one. So, and that's what we see that happened to Joe. Joe, she dates this. She goes out on the first date, and then she has sex with this guy.
Not tons, but we saw like one every single night. Like
one every single night. But the last one that she had, from the beginning, she felt that this is a very strong man that could potentially hurt her. And we'll talk later on of how Joe's date ended, which we all know it didn't end that well. So, yes, guys, what's the moral of the story here when it comes to Tinder?
I can't blame Tinder because of the fact that this was Joe's intention. She was like, my daughter's out of town. I'm going to do whatever I need to do in order to like forget what's going on. So this wasn't Tinder's fault. I'm not going to say it was Joe's fault. I'm just going to say a lot of not so greats combined together to turn into a really potentially dangerous result.
Joe, this is not your fault. This is Tinder. Okay?
Joe.
I blame it on that Tinder. I understand you, Joe. I understand you. Because she met the crazy. I met the crazy in Tinder. So, ladies, stay away from Tinder. So it's like a public service announcement from like single girls.
Service announcement.
Yes, from the single girls in LA. Actually, it just turned me off. I'm not even dating anymore. I just said I'm done. I can't.
Wow, that was a wild Tinder ride. You should probably follow her on Twitter so you can get all the deets on this Tinder adventure.
Oh, I have stories. But you know what? It made me say to myself, let me go back to the regular way that we date these days. We meet somebody, whether at work or at a restaurant or at Starbucks. Let me meet somebody the regular way. I'm done with Tinder dating. So
let's ask this question. Mm-hmm. So Joe is meeting people on Tinder. Mm-hmm. We have Phoebe and Delia who are dating people, like you're saying, the regular way. They're still experiencing their own amount of, I'm not going to say crazy. I'm just not going to say I don't know even what normal is, but they're still experiencing a certain amount of drama.
But they experience it in a prolonged, they're dating, whoever they date, it lasts for a while. When it comes to Tinder, it's just, like we said, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So let's ask our audience, what do you guys think about Tinder dating? Please let us know what you guys think about Tinder dating.
I'm not sure if they can leave comments unanimously, but if you want to, I mean, that's totally fine because I'm sure the Tinder stories out there are
I think we should start.
fantastic.
I think we should do like a Tinder story after show.
I don't have a Tinder story, thank goodness.
You did Tinder.
I did Tinder. I don't have a crazy story.
Oh, girl, I could go on and on and on. But anyway, okay, moving along. So we were talking about Phoebe. So Phoebe,
Yeah.
who she's dating, her professor.
Trying to date her professor.
But there's something iffy about this professor.
I thought he was gay from jump. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. I thought he was gay from the moment he looked at this woman in this black shortcut dress. Half of her legs are hanging out, and all he can say is, "There's something stuck in my teeth." Gay. Even if he was like married or engaged or was in a serious relationship, I'm sorry, men are physical. He would have checked her body out. All he did was say, "Is there something in my teeth?" I was like, gay.
You know what? I didn't expect that he was going to be gay. I just thought that from the moment the character came into the episodes, he wasn't strong enough to maintain a solid kind of like dynamic for a couple of episodes. I think, hopefully he's done by this one. Maybe we'll just see him here and there. But the good thing about Phoebe is that she goes out with the professor to his mother's art gallery.
Right.
She's an artist, and she meets another person that basically tells her, he's a closet gay. That's what he said. And she's like, makes sense right now. And he says, well, let me take you somewhere where you're really going to feel something. Mm-hmm. And he takes her to this underground, kind of like art show exhibit where everybody takes part in painting and doing all these creative things. And one of the things that I love about this scene is that she's mesmerized by this.
Right.
And she grabs the brush. Well, the brush is handed to her, and she starts doing something, painting. And later on, also the guy tells her, this happens at night. The next day, the city workers come and they clean up all the walls. And the next day she comes in and she sees that everything that was painted, it's gone.
Right.
And what I love about this moment is it was kind of like a somber moment for her. She just stayed there looking. I don't know what she was doing. She was meditating. But to me, I felt that moment, Phoebe found her calling.
Right. I agree 100%.
What do you think her calling is?
From the moment the show came on, though, I was always surprised. I remember in season 1 when she had like the jewelry for, was it babies? I think it was right. So to me, the entire time, she's always felt like an artist. She's definitely felt like a free spirit.
Yes.
So for her to have this calling or be drawn into art, it's kind of surprising to me that she hadn't been there. I mean, she's always been there because she's been a model and that type of thing, and people can argue whether they think models are artists, but you're using your body in particular ways in order to create beautiful pictures and that kind of thing. So I think it's a form of art. So it wasn't surprising to me that she gravitated toward being an artist. I think it was surprising that she didn't know, but I think that said to me how removed Phoebe really is from herself, given what's happened to her, because yes. We've gotten a couple hints in the show about what's happened to her. She started modeling at 14. She was taking advantage of that kind of thing. We know she was married, divorced, but I don't think we've ever gotten this real feeling how really disconnected she was from herself, because she comes across so beautiful and so confident, but there's a real piece of disconnection in Phoebe, and it's like she's finding her way back and looking and seeing her hands at that wall, even though the picture was gone, but she still had the remaining of the painting on her fingers. I think to me it felt like she, for the first time, she was like, I can do something, as opposed to being used for something.
Yeah.
I can actually do and produce something.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really great moment for her, and there weren't that many positive moments in this episode, and that was one, like a real awakening.
That was my favorite moment in this episode. And you saw those connections in the beginning with Phoebe. I saw it, but I guess I didn't really pay attention because I was always like, Phoebe, what are you looking for? What are we?
Right.
Phoebe's always trying to find herself. She's always trying to find something, and she always throws herself into all these people, men, situations, even maybe the jewelry thing. And nothing ever kind of like, it just comes abruptly to an end. Everything that she is always searching. There's never like a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's always beginning and an ending, very abruptly. So it was really sweet and nice for me to discover, oh my God, now I know what Phoebe's doing. She's an artist. And now I'm going to want to see all these things that she's going to create, whatever that may be. And I think that maybe she's going to always have different things to create. I hope that that's what comes out of her character.
Well, it seems like these ladies are all at a particular economic level where money's not an issue, especially Phoebe. Like, we've never seen Phoebe say once in this entire show, I've got to get a job, I'm worried about money, anything of the nature. So for her, she is advantaged enough to be able to produce, just to be able to produce whatever her heart desires, as opposed to being like, I gotta sell this. I'm not, she doesn't have to consider herself a struggling artist. She can just simply create to create. And it's gonna, I think, be very interesting to see where that's gonna take her, because let's admit, the people that she was there with this art exhibit project that she was doing, this kind of art show they were at, were not the people she's gonna go to Beverly Hills, dinner parties and cocktail parties. And those are not the kind of people that, everybody else normally hangs with. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how she plays both these worlds.
And hopefully we have more eclectic characters coming into the season. And
but last thing, I do think the guy who scooped her up from the professor at the show is shady. Just saying. I feel like he does that all the time. I feel like he comes and scoops up whomever the professor brings to events, tells them, he's a closet gay, so he can take them out on dates. Because it just happened he was just too smooth.
Well, yeah. Let's see if the character maybe continues on throughout the season.
We'll see.
Yeah. And then we have Delia. They finally went wedding dress shopping. I was so excited about that scene, yet Delia just removed that from me. We were all excited to see Delia finding a dress, and Delia was so nonchalant, not happy, not excited, that it really oh my God, forget it. Don't even get married, girl. When
are her friends? Because we talked about it last week, how we just feel like she's so lost and she doesn't want to get married, and this is causing her such anxiety. It's like when Carrie on Sex and the City got engaged to Aiden. I don't know, maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know if anybody out here remembers this. But do you remember on Sex and the City when Carrie got engaged to Aiden and she and Charlotte went just to a wedding store, the worst wedding store in New York City, and tried on wedding gowns, and she literally broke out in hives and was like, cut this dress off of me. I will try to find the episode to tell you guys exactly what episode it was. That's how I felt with this whole wedding scene with her. It's so clear to us that she's having such a hard time with this wedding and this commitment and all of it. And it just seems like her friends don't get it at all. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a beautiful bride. I can't wait for you. But it just doesn't seem like they're catching on for what we're saying.
Because she doesn't let it be known. She hasn't told them about Albert.
Right.
And, her little, thing that
whatever
she's having.
That thing is.
She has expressed little thing. They know the basics of that. She's a divorce lawyer. She's not into the whole wedding thing, but she's going. So I don't think she has revealed so much to the girls for them to actually be like, Delia, it's okay. We're going to love you either way. Do what makes you happy. So I love that Sex and the City episode. Where, yes, I remember. That was a real girlfriend moment.
That was right.
But Delia has not given the girls that opportunity for them to be girlfriends.
That's true. And I think this season, for whatever reason, they're all holding. Abby didn't tell them about when she and Jake were trying to get back together. Jo didn't tell them how she was really feeling about her ex-husband. So this season, we're seeing them all hold little bits and pieces back from one another, which is ultimately, I think, damaging their relationship. Or we'll see. We'll see if there's any damage in their relationship.
Or maybe there's just little superficial girlfriend love. In this season, or maybe in the next season we'll see more of that deep girlfriend connection, because you're right, I don't get that from this season if you compare it to Sex and the City, and we all love Sex and the City.
Oh, come on, that's the epitome of
that's the classic.
That's it.
Yes.
But can we talk about what's going on? I mean, this episode with the Albert relationship, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Not Albert relationship, Albert affair. Yes, I see your mouth. Albert affair. It seems as if she doesn't even want that, and she's coming up with, she's like, I want to try new things and all that kind of stuff. In my opinion, she's coming up with excuses so she doesn't even have to be intimate with him. She just seems to want everybody away, but she doesn't know how to say it. That's what I got from let's bring the third person into the bedroom so I can just watch. I didn't believe it. I didn't fall for it. I want to know what anybody else thinks. I didn't fall for it. I thought she, it was, I didn't buy any of that.
No, I didn't think about it because, when I saw that episode that basically she brings in another girl so she could just watch the other girl and Albert doing something. I thought, well, can you do that with your future husband? Like, that's something that you could do with your future. Why are you doing it with your lover?
Is he okay, I guess he's okay.
They have a relationship.
Oh, they have something.
They have a relationship and they're having an affair. And it's okay. I approve of your affair, Delia.
I totally do not.
We can choose to disagree. But I like your affair because I like Albert.
I like Albert if I was getting divorced, he'd be the first person I call.
Oh.
But not to have an affair with. Not to be rolling around the sheets with, I'm sorry.
You just don't like him because he's bald.
No, I have nothing against men without the hair. I have nothing against a man who has like a hair deficit. I have nothing against him. I just don't believe that anything they have is a relationship. I just think for him, I think he's just cheating on his wife because, look at her. Look at Delia. She's like gorgeous. You know what I mean? Like she's 16 feet tall and her legs go on forever and like she's gorgeous. I get that. I get him. I totally get what he's doing. And he probably, no offense to him, has never had an opportunity to be with someone that hot. I don't get her. I don't get what she's getting out of it because she could have the hottest man in LA if she wants. So this to me just seems like something she's doing. I don't see she's getting anything out of it.
What I do love is this little, sexual games that they have going on. I think it keeps the momentum going with every scenes that they have together. Kind of also lets us see a more their relationship, their playful relationship.
They're playful, whatever. I choose not to use the word relationship, but okay.
Playful affair? Is that what you want to call it?
Playful affair. We can go with that.
It's still a relationship.
We differ on that. We differ on that point. I would love to hear what you guys think about that. Is it an affair or relationship? Let us know what you think.
I think it's a relationship. Anyway, so we move along and we also see that. So finally, Becca is reaching out to Abby's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Abby's daughter asks
to Lily,
mom,
mm-hmm.
to Lily. So Lily asks mom, Abby, hey mom, can I text, with Becca? Is that okay? And Abby's very mature and she's like, of course, this woman's going to be in our life. You're going to have a half sibling? Sure. Then Becca also tries to get a hold of Abby, and finally Abby and Becca meet. Mm-hmm. And they're having a conversation, and Becca mentioned Jake. And that's when Abby got a little bit defensive and say, hey, I don't have to deal with that other half, Jake. Just anything dealing with the baby, not Jake itself. And somewhere along there, Becca starts having some kind of contraction or some kind of pain.
Right.
And she falls to the floor and she's hospitalized. Moving forward, we see Abby at the hospital with Becca. And that was another nice moment. That was another kind of like a moment of bright light. If you look at Abby, the way she sees this innocent Becca, a woman that's having a baby by her still husband.
Right.
But she sees this young girl, this 20-something-year-old girl, and Abby's like in her 40s. And the way she's looking at her and talking to her and advising her and calming her, you just see that motherly kind of like, it's okay. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, I will say I was hard on Abby the last episode because I was like, she's at this book fair and she's fake and, blah, 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 blah. And I will say that this episode, we saw this kind of loving, compassionate, even though she was still wackadoo. Like she was she was going crazy. Right?
I don't blame her.
No, she had a lot going on. But for her, like we were saying last episode, they put their kids and their family first, and Becca is now an extension of that. Mm-hmm. So to see her put all of that stuff aside and really reach out to Becca shows a maturity to me, but it also makes me very nervous for Abby because I don't think I've ever seen an episode where I was saying to Abby, like, you can't take care of everything. And this episode kind of set her up as that person. Like, even Jake said, you can't do anything for yourself because you have to take care of everybody. And I never got that really from her character before. Mm-hmm. But I can definitely say that's how they're trying to set her up. And that's a beautiful thing at sometimes, but it's also a really scary thing because so many times as women, we put other people and everything else first, and we don't do the same thing for ourselves.
Well, I love Abby with Becca. We saw a very humane side of Abby, which we all have seen, but this really was the icing on the cake for me because I was like, okay, the extension of the family, it's happening.
Yeah.
And I said it from the beginning, I'm excited about this baby. I'm excited because it's just going to show a lot of unity from everyone.
Right.
And we saw that at the end of the episode, everybody, the whole family is at Becca's side on the bed, making sure that everything's okay. And we also see Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris misses his flight.
Yes.
To be with Abby.
He did, yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. That's all I'm saying.
That was so corny, but it's cute.
Yeah,
it's
I'm reserving comment because I'm just not quite sure who this dude is yet. It remains to be seen, but I will give props where props are due. He did do his thing on this episode, 100%. Can't take that away from him, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your predictions for next episode?
Predictions.
Or just predictions in general? They're coming.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
This is what I thought when I was watching the episode. Lo and behold, Becca is now part of the family, or honorary part of the family because she's carrying Jake's seed, and she's on bed rest. I instantly saw in my mind, Becca is going to end up living with Abby for the duration of her pregnancy because her boyfriend is in and out the door because he has an acting career. She has to be on bed rest. Lily is going to say, Mom, how can we leave her at home by herself? We need to take care of her because Jake is in Latvia, right? I said, oh my gosh, Becca's going to end up moving into Abby's home and staying with her and taking care of her throughout this entire pregnancy. And Jake is going to be like, what are you talking about? And it's almost going to become like Abby is not her friend because they're not on that level, but almost like you were saying, very maternal, maybe like a third child. It's going to become she's going to become an integral part of their family. But I definitely see Becca with bags at the front door.
Okay.
That's my prediction, yeah.
Pretty interesting. Well, my predictions are always all over the place with different, not all over the place, but it always has different characters.
Yeah.
So my predictions with Delia usually are on. We have seen. I think, you know what? It's so funny when they were having the scene when they were in a hotel and they bring a threesome. You hear a knock. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, is that her fiance? So I haven't seen the fiance in the last 2 episodes very much, and I'm like, doesn't he pay attention to what his future fiance is doing? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking maybe he'll keep tabs on her. Maybe he wants to know what's going on because there's going to be moments when she's going to be acting strange around him, and she has. So I'm wondering if he's going to surprise her in a moment. I think that's what's going to be like, that moment that I'm going to love when she gets caught.
It would not surprise me of a man of his caliber and stature and experience, and given the fact that he's been married before. Mm-hmm. And I think he cheated on his ex-wife. I think she might have cheated on him. I'm not 100% sure. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he was keeping tabs on her. It just wouldn't. It just would not.
So my prediction is that he catches Delia in the act or just something so dramatic, over the top, that it really hurts to both of them.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
All right, dun, dun, dun. All right, guys. Make sure you watch next week AfterBuzz Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce, episode 8.
Yeah, it'll be 8.
8. We're going to be on. And don't forget, check us out on iTunes, YouTube.
SoundCloud. YouTube. Where can they find you? Everywhere.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Isis Velazquez and the number 4.
You can find me, I'm Tara Johnson, on Instagram and Twitter at TJ Wagging Her Tail. And you can find me on my online women's talk show, wordswinewomen.com. Thank you so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.